I'm obviously pleased with the Crown's decision to stay the charges against me. While I'm relieved to be exonerated of any wrongdoing, I am disappointed it has taken this long. The alarming and protracted bias of perceived guilt across the senior levels of government has been quite damaging, and the emotional and financial impacts of this entire ordeal have taken their toll. I have an important story to tell that Canadians will want and need to hear. It is my intention in the coming days to tell that story, not to lay blame, but to ensure that we all learn from this experience. I would like to express my sincere appreciation for the support of Marie Henein, Christine Mainville, and my entire legal team, some of whom are with us here today, for their wisdom and guidance. I could not have placed my and my family's life and future in better hands. Ultimately, I look forward to my immediate reinstatement and a return to serve in Canada, something that I have done unfailingly for the last 38 years, something that Canadians should expect and demand. In closing, I want to speak directly to the thousands of Canadians who stood by me, who supported me and my family, both spiritually and financially. We would simply have never made it here without your generosity and help. Thank you.
For that, it got to the courts as well. Do you want an apology from anyone in particular in government in this? And most notably, do you want an apology from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for how he has commented on the case?
Well, he's commented a number of times on this case, as you know, before it ever went into court. And as we now know, after our application for third-party records was filed, there were numerous comments made from the PCO, anonymous sources, and the Treasury Board, anonymous sources, responding to our application that was proceeding in a court. A bit of an extraordinary event. I've certainly never seen that occur. So to say there was an interest in this case puts it mildly. Vice Admiral Norman has been through a great deal. His family has been through a great deal. There is a ship, a supply ship, that is operational, on time, and under budget, thanks in part to Vice Admiral Norman. I think it's time to say sorry to him.
There are lots of questions that need to be asked and answered about this whole process the last couple of years. And I think some people who have been involved in this need to reflect on what happened and why it happened and their role in that. Now, ultimately, they'll make whatever decision they want or need to make, and I would like to think that people are going to do the right thing. Thank you.
Yeah, I think they should be concerned when there are attempts to bring the political into a criminal courtroom. And I think they should feel very proud and very happy today because what they saw is that our justice system is truly unassailable. The prosecutors in a high-profile case looked at the evidence and did what they're supposed to do. They said, we don't have a reasonable prospect of conviction. The DPP acted independently. If it tells you anything, it tells you that when she thinks you should prosecute, she goes ahead, and when she thinks you shouldn't, she declines to do so. That's the way it should be. No person in this country should ever walk into a courtroom and feel like they are fighting their elected government or any sort of political factors at all. So this was a good day because you saw actually, and I'm glad you did, the prosecutors and the judge all acting independently. And all that other stuff stays outside once you shut the courtroom doors. You should be very concerned when anyone tries to erode the resilience of the justice system or demonstrates a failure to understand why it is so fundamental to the democratic values that we hold so dear. There are times you agree with what happens in a court, there are times you don't, and that's fine. But what you don't do is you don't put your finger and try to weigh in on the scales of justice. That is not what should be happening. And so I think we have lots of lessons to learn from this and other cases. And I know Canadians are paying close attention.
And I'd like to, re-
Did you
I'd like to,
listen- oh,
just-
sorry.
I'd like to repeat my comments from inside the courtroom where I genuinely acknowledged the efforts of all of the participants in that legal process. And the effort that they put into this to maintain the integrity of the system that Ms. Henein has just described is remarkable, and it's noteworthy, and they should be commended for that. I have and continue to have, notwithstanding my extensive experience inside the machinery of this process, I have the utmost confidence in our judicial process, and I stand by that, notwithstanding what's happened to me and my family.